I'd Like Some More Butter on My Pancakes Productions presents Crown and Anchor, Issue 3, Legends No More. Read by the original Scallywags and Sunburn Pirates, Alaire and Toben, and everyone's favorite mermaid princess, Beth Aucoin. Previously in Crown and Anchor, two bounty hunters, Heb and Mact, joined by the elf Skit, paid a visit to Trinx Athos, fence for rare stolen goods. Trinx confirmed what Nax had told the bounty hunters. The coin they had inherited is indeed a divine token. Ooh. After a scuffle with Trinx and her guards, the trio received word via Figlo, the male seagull, male as in mail carrier, not boy, although he is a boy, about a new bounty. Before they were able to leave the island, some mercenaries that Nightfree sent caught up to them. Their attempts to prove Nightfree's guilt failed, prompting a hasty exit. Now, leaving Wathir behind them, the trio hurries to rescue a kidnapped Technia expert. Maybe they'll finally get paid.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Trinx thinks this little coin is a divine token, all because she met some cook as a kid.
Ding!
Could have been bluffing. She could have told us anything, we'd have believed it. There isn't anything but legend and lore or second-hand stories or for a basis of knowledge. What we need is a scholar or a historian, not just a criminal.
Perhaps this ship contains clues to the authenticity of the token.
He has a point, Hebs. Right there. Nax is sure to have letters of some kind from other pirate lords.
I still feel we've been taken for a ride. Nax tried to take advantage of us, and we foot the bill. And then Trinx tells us some bunk story about a daddy-daughter date. I'd make up a better story. She just won the money I supposedly promised her.
I believe you could. So stop complaining and eat. You're cranky when you're hungry.
That's you.
Get ready, come on.
Shows theater.
You're there.
Heb, you pissing scallywag. Who'd you swipe this barge from? It's bigger than your blasted home island.
Last client tried to dodge a bill. Plus, he wasn't in any medical condition to continue captaining the spine vessel. So we relieved him of command. Aether, this is my crew. Match the finest Technia expert on the seas, and Dish Boy.
Nice to meet you, Aether. Aether?
Ahoy, Mact. Dish Boy, I'm Aether Pendant. The lanky thing behind me is my son, Ethan. Believe it or not, Heb was once under my employ.
Employ? Heb isn't one to fall under those rules.
True, we knocked heads often, though the competition made for the most lucrative dives in my career. We once discovered an ancient gold statue of the goddess Lycum. I found her head, and Heb found her feet. We kept pulling and tugging without knowing it was each other who impeded our progress.
Figure these folks would appraise Aucoin accurately?
Worth a shot. Aether, I recently inherited an item that may interest you. We've been told it's a divine token twice. That seems a little too convenient for my liking. What do you think?
These markings are ancient deity signatures. You find them inscribed on statues and other icons. Surprised you didn't recognize them, Heb?
I was never as devoted to salvaging as you, Aether. Every job is only ever about two things: money and women.
Told you before, chasing both won't get you ahead in life. I'd be willing to stake my reputation that what you have here is real. All the swirling markings correspond to Navir, the goddess of wind.
A goddess? Why'd she be connected to this?
That's what makes it divine, my lad. You know, each token was bestowed as a favor from each god and goddess. When collected and combined, they lead to a treasure more extensive than any that have been seen on Aventus.
But they need to be combined? Why doesn't the Pirate Conclave do it?
Don't ask me, lad. I haven't the foggiest notion why they haven't collected that treasure.
We'll search for information from Nax's journals or letters in his cabin.
Do what you want. I'm not convinced. And even if the lore points to treasure, so what? We make enough collecting bounties.
Bounties are small potatoes. Think of your highest score on a bounty and triple it, quadruple it. That's not even a drop of what would be waiting for you.
And have the whole world out to lynch me to line their pockets? No thanks. I'll stick with seeking out Aventus's scum and not getting too comfortable with my income.
Very well. Ethan, we best shove off. 'Twas Providence that we met with you, Heb. Before we go, might you provide us fuel?
Isn't any trouble. Link up on the side. I'll flip the switch.
What is our specific objective?
Information about the pirate conclave or the divine tokens. If he wrote or received letters to other pirate lords, we can track them down. And anything to explain the purpose and authenticity of the divine token would be helpful to convince Heb it's worth our time.
Why does Heb remain determined to ignore that coin's true significance?
I don't mean to speak ill of our captain, but I think it's important you understand this. See, Heb's a hedonist, focused solely on pleasure and doesn't want to do anything he doesn't want to do. He still suffers from a broken heart, so brothels give him temporary reprieve from his pain. He likes money, and as an avenue for expelling his pent-up anger, bounty hunting lets him target criminals whose lives the kingdom has deemed forfeit. But there is good under all the pain, but he doesn't want to fight through to come up for air.
Postpone our desires for the needs of the world. What the hell does that mean? Forever alone. Forever alone.
There isn't a single sentence that could indicate what a divine token is.
You came to the Grey Coast because of a bounty on Nax's head, yes? Was it because the Navy knew he was a pirate lord?
The bounty stated the reason for elimination was that Nax's actions as ruler of Grey Coast conflicted with his position as a privateer. But I imagine the Navy heard reports about Bloggen and mistook them for Nax. Maybe we aided in an innocent man's murder.
Fuck. Nax wasn't innocent. I'd been hiding on Grey Coast for almost a month before Blaggen took over. Blaggen knew of Nax's past before he was a pirate lord. Nax wanted to keep that quiet, didn't want to spoil the image he worked hard to maintain for his citizens. Blaggen won in the end, chased Nax onto his ship and off the island. I was captured shortly after. Is that an Aventus chart?
Standard for all captains to possess. They track routes and storms. We're heading south. I'm from Lethid to the west and Heb's home island. I'm sorry, you guys.
It's okay.
Climate Cove is east, close to the kingdom's mainland. Where is your home?
Faroe, island of forestry and otherwise moderately tempered elves.
The map doesn't show any land there.
We elves live in exile, Mact. We long to re-enter society, then ache to remain isolated in the same breath. Each king, from the end of the Second Epoch onwards, has known the proximate location of every elven tribe, yet does not eliminate us or offer their assistance. The map shows nothing because there is nothing to see. We are outcast. The rest of Aventus doesn't want us elves.
How is your sister kidnapped if your tribe lives in isolation? Kinswappers raid your village?
We lived too far for Skinswappers to venture. My sister Salil and I came here, though it wasn't the grand adventure we dreamed it was to be.
What do you mean by that?
We were young, according to elven lifespans, and worse, we were bored with our lives. The daily routine of praying, chores, studies, mundanity becomes a prison. We felt trapped and we wanted to explore the Aventus we read about in our tomes.
Will it carry us to the rest of Aventus?
If my translation is correct, a vessel this size is intended for 8. We'll make it. Our youth and zealous desire for adventure was like a veil covering our judgment. The day we planned to depart, I lost my nerve, as if waking from a dream. I realized we were committing treason against our chief and all he's done to protect us and the rest of the world. I couldn't convince Salil to stay. She was always more headstrong than myself. She sailed away and I stood there, doing nothing. I confessed, hoping that my honesty would avail me of punishment. It did not.
Dishonesty! breeds disunity. By coming forward with this, I'm not doing that voice. By coming forward with this confession, now you show your selfishness and I can't pronounce that word. Naivety. Your punishment will consist of these terms.
Find thy sister and return her safely to Pharaoh. Do not do anything to influence or affect Aventus. Once Salil is back in thy care, return to these shores immediately for further castigation.
Gods above be praised that we found you in Blagan's Keep. That's a weighty request. You do need help.
Aye, a heavy burden to bear, but such is requisite to educate youth and promote maturation.
True, I've made many mistakes that required atonement, but that only helped connect me with the gods. Perhaps this will help you connect to your family.
I believe so. Whatever chasm existed between my parents and me, hopefully will be healed after this is all complete. And I dare say, whatever reason the gods see fit for me to fall into your care, they've guided my steps true thus far. And I believe they aren't done yet.
In ages foregone, when the gods were young and the islands were one, the great god Sjo and his wife Valtine gave birth to the first human child. Sjo and Valtine provided a haven to raise and nurture their creations. A garden in the shade of the mighty Praepollins, the primordial Axis Mundi. The latter gods descended. Stepping foot on Adventus' surface created a spark that ignited life. Fathers Joe and Mother Valtine surveyed the haven and deemed it satisfactory. A safe space, a sacred place, where the seed of mortality was planted and life took root, spreading atop soil and beneath sea. But gods no longer walk here. Their footprints are buried under vines, flowers, and blood. The holy garden is now a site of repentance. Aventus' birthplace became a self-imposed exile for a son whose hubris grew rampant, his avarice and pride unchecked. So he must wait, paying penance until the gods once again reach down and mark him forgiven. Knock, knock.
Speak, messenger.
Nax is dead. The token has transferred to another whom we do not know. Shall we unite the conclave again?
Nay. Alert the lords. Permit them to take action on their own. I shall remain here to guard what is mine.
Next issue, Wilton and his Technia.